We are now C licensed and it's time to kick things up a notch with racing in GT4. Now many of you have been telling me how good the racing is in this category, but these split one races were going to truly show me how much work I still have to do on iRacing to be anywhere near competitive. So where will we end up in our first GT4 races? Let's dive in and find out. So here it is, the car I will be campaigning in my GT4 races, the BMW G82 M4 GT4 Evo, sporting some very iconic Yokohama livery colours from the E36 GTR that campaigned through the mid-90s, one of my all-time favourite cars. And for my first GT4 races, we will be here at Silverstone, taking on the GT4 fixed race here, the 15-minute race, and we're starting this one out of position 16, losing a little bit out on my qualifying time and right in the thick of it here in this 28 car field. We get the green light as we get around the first corner, and it's a straight shot down to turn number 1 here at Silverstone, and we're straight into the action. The Mercedes-Benz there launching it up the inside at turn 1. We take some side-to-side contact. Fortunately, my car is still pointing straight ahead, and we can now race towards turn number 3 here. Car on my inside as we come around turn number 3, holding it around the outside, and now getting the inside of turn number 4. Crucial exit here as it takes you through the kink turn 5 and down the Wellington Straight here for the first time on lap number 1. 15-minute race, as I said. Now this is in fact a D-class event, and I've waited until C-class for this one just so I can go back to back with the other race I will show you soon. Now here at turn number 6, our first piece of contact up ahead, the Aston Martin drifting wide out of turn 6, collecting the BMW on his outside there, and unfortunately able to sneak down the inside around turn number 7. Massive wiggle out of turn 7 on cold tyres, but we are again all ahead. No more contact damage on this first lap, down to Copse Corner for the first time here. Now this corner was quite tricky in these understeery fixed setup cars, trying to be very cautious not to pick up an off-track or worse, a slowdown penalty from that turn through the race was going to be a big task here. And now through maggots and bigots, but we have a spin up in front, turn car 14 here, spinning out of Beckett's corner, and that the big bunching effect with cars going left and right to avoid. We get around there nicely up to position 14, and a big gaggle of cars up in front, which we should hopefully catch nice and soon. And soon we do. Into the start of lap number 2, we are immediately to the back of that train, and now there is a big long line here of GT4s spanning all the way back past 20th position. A nice exit here for me out of turn 4. I've got car 24, the Mercedes, in front, and we are right in the slipstream here, trying to tuck right under the rear wing, getting a little bit more comfortable here, following closer with cars in iRacing, learning a lot from watching previous replays. And now I'm going to throw it around the outside here at turn 6 and try and steal the inside line at turn 7. We're side by side, I have that inside line. I'm going to try and get on the power here nicely, but unfortunately too early. Another big wiggle on cold tyres, and we're going to be side by side as we go down past the old start finish line towards Copse Corner here on lap number 2. I've never tried this corner from the inside like this, so we're going to brake nice and early, trying to make the apex. Unfortunately he brakes earlier than me, lets off, and I'm allowed to take the racing line through there. And good racing all round on that one, really enjoying the racing so far. Now with just over 8 minutes to go, we're going to launch ourselves up to the start of lap number 4 here, and we've been able to settle into a bit more of a rhythm with these cars around me. Now holding on to these cars in front without too much drama, trying to find where I am got some better pace, but I was a bit worried with these GT4s, particularly these fixed setups, being a front engine car, that I might be overworking the front tyres a wee bit, trying to resolve some of the understeer there.
I'm very cautious and been told a lot how the tyre temperatures really affect the grip level here on iRacing, and wasn't entirely sure if I was pushing the car a bit too hard to make the speed that I was having. Certainly find by the end of this race whether that is the case, but at this stage just doing my best to try and hold on with these cars and keep behind that blue Mercedes that I had passed a little bit earlier. Down the Wellington Straight once again on lap number 5, and I have been picking up a few off tracks in this race. Like I've mentioned, no car contact to this point, but the off tracks were really easy to pick up here on Silverstone circuit. Now coming to turn 6, where I break myself a little bit, just avoiding the back there of car 13, and I'm immediately surrounded now by car 9, the purple McLaren. He's been making his way up through the field during this race. Headlights flashing there, he's quite keen to get by me as well, but I'm not keen to make it easy for him. Coming out of Beckett's on this lap, and he's got a really good run here, so I'm deciding that I'm going to fight this one as we head down towards Stowe Corner. I'm going to take a very inside line, not offering up any of the inside of the circuit, make him work really hard to go the long way around. Now I am cautious because I do want to at least pick the apex of this one, and he does manage to just hold on around the outside there, and it's a slightly slower exit for me. But as we come down to the final set of corners there, I charge into the apex and we actually make a tiny bit of contact there. Fortunately, not enough to upset any of the cars or pick up those 4 incident points, but it was super close to actually taking him out. And say those braking markers, you have to be so careful not to go past them. Now we're going to come towards the very final lap of this race. The white flag is starting to fly, and car 9 makes a big mistake there, going right over the inside curb on the final corner, losing control and finding the pit wall there at the start of the last lap. We're up to position number 12, but directly behind, it's going to be a struggle to keep him behind. It's car 5, the Porsche there. Lots of I-rating from this driver, and my car is definitely starting to struggle here, very front limited, and this car is going to just dive down the inside. We saw him coming there, he was lining me up, and we just let that one go, not wanting to pick up any more incident points. Unfortunately, I picked one up there coming through turn number 5, just getting too far over the inside of the curb. And with that, we were able to come through and complete our first GT4 race here on iRacing. Overall, I was happy with the performance, even if there was work to be done. And with those 6 incident points, we're actually going to take, unfortunately, a small safety rating drop. I'm going to have to really tighten that up if I want to be progressing to B license in the near future. But great fun, ready for some more action. Let's dive into race number 2. Race 2, qualifying time, and my qualifying lap was highlighted by this moment here, going long at Stowe Corner, and what would have been a low 2-minute 11-second lap was in fact not the case, and that puts us down in position 18 out of 21, this multi-class 30-minute race with the LMP3 cars. Let's dive in. We get the green light before the final set of corners, trying to hold on to our starting position, and we're clear coming down the front straight. Now with a repeat scenario from the first race, we have that same silver Mercedes directly behind us. Fortunately, we do not make any contact at turn 1, but I do pick up my first off track, and with the way race 1 went, I'm really keen not to pick those up. Now outbraking myself a little bit into turn number 3, and that Mercedes is very cautious around me this time round, so fortunately again no contact. Out of turn number 4 through turn 5, and it's at least a safe start to this 30-minute race. Now apart from this race being longer and multi-class, the other big difference was that this was an open setup race. Now I hadn't done a lot of time with the open setup in this car at the circuit, doing most of my practice on the fixed setup, and the car definitely felt a lot better, a lot less understeery with these open setups. The big problem, however, was that the braking points didn't change much, although the car gave you a lot more confidence to push the corners. So here we are on lap number 2, we go long here at Copse Corner, and that is not the best thing to do, picking up an off track up to 3 incident points now, and slow on the exit to avoid that slowdown. We're going to go side by side with that silver Mercedes there, and he's able to come around the outside of us through Mackett's and Beckett's, and we drop down to position number 19. Down the hangar straight now, trying to slot in, trying to find a groove here with this car. Unfortunately, it felt like a bit of a test session at times, but up ahead, car 30, another Mercedes, he's gone wide, and the yellow flag I think's off-put that silver Mercedes in front. He's missed the apex a bit, and at the apex I've had to slow right down to avoid contact, and now car number 36, he is going to dive down the inside into the final corner here. Awkward place, but we're able to check up enough, slot in because there is pressure from the Porsche there behind as well, and unfortunately losing 2 positions and nearly falling to the very back of this GT4 field. On to lap number 3 now, and after those position losses I was quite keen to try and get back into a groove and try and get this race underway properly for me. Yellow flags ahead as we come to turn number 3. They disappear but then immediately come back. There's a big tangle of cars up at turn number 4. We're able to sneak down at the apex of the corner, but making up 3 positions there, cars all around. And now as we move on to lap number 4, some of those cars are trying to make their way back up. I'm trying to put some pressure here on car 36, but it's car 25 behind that's showing the most interest at the moment. They were caught up in that incident the lap prior, and even here coming through Beckett's corner, decent exit for me, but that Porsche right behind. Unfortunately, with this slipstream from car 36, we're going to be able to hold them off a little bit. 0.2 in front, 0.2 behind. Close racing here in GT4 as we were coming to expect from this class. Now through Stowe Corner, a half decent run on the exit, but I'm too early on the throttle, a big slide there, losing my momentum, and that's car 25 who throws it up the inside to turn 16, probably the move that I need to be learning here and should have been trying on a few cars, but we drop back 1 position, back down to position 17, still up on our starting position, but really needing to find a better groove here. Jumping ahead 1 lap, and car 25 is going to have a bit of a look around the outside of car 36 here through Beckett's corner, and unfortunately that does not work out too well for him. That side-to-side contact with car 36 pitches him into a spin, and we are able to reclaim our 16th position in this race. Jumping ahead to the start of lap 6 though, and the leaders are on the way. The leaders are coming by us here into turn number 3, and these LMP3 cars have a fair old speed difference to the GT4s. Initially I was taken off guard actually by how quickly these cars were coming up in the rear view mirror. We come through turn number 5 here, positions 3, 4 and 5 of the LMP3 class charging by us here on the Wellington straight, and even here later in the lap, positions 10, 11, 12 are trying to go around the outside of Stowe Corner. More coming up as we head down towards turn 16, and it was certainly quite a bit to take in, and trying to position the car, trying to be predictable and staying out of the way of these battles while trying to have my own battle here with car 36 in front. You win some, you lose some with traffic losing out around the outside of the final turn. Lots to take in, and quite an intense lap that one as that LMP3 field charges by. Now with 15 minutes to go and those leaders now past us, we go back to the GT4 battle. Car 28 is back in the rear view mirror, having gained on us through traffic. He was directly behind us before the incident at turn 4 with those other cars, and now he's right there on the rear bumper. But car 36 was starting to show a little bit of weakness through some of these turns, just like I was being very wary of and was a bit worried about, in fact, with how my car would in fact be at the end of this race in terms of tyre life, in terms of its understeer. Car 36 was starting to show a few signs of weakness through some of these turns. Now coming down the Wellington straight here on lap number 8, we get a run on him, and we're going to show the nose down the inside, and he doesn't defend this one too much. Hard under brakes, making the apex mostly at turn number 6. and that's going to be enough for us to sneak by and pick up what is position 14 on the road in class for me. Out the other side, 13 minutes and 15 seconds of this race still to go. Now on to lap number 9, and really for the first time in this race I had my own piece of racetrack and a bit of clear air, and I was quite keen to capitalise on that and sort of show some of more of my true pace, having not really had any clean laps up to this point. Now that car number 28 Porsche had got around the BMW the lap prior as well, so he was on the charge trying to catch up to me here for position 14, but I was quite keen to try and do my best laps and see if I can't put a little bit of a gap onto him. Unfortunately though, that was not going to work out too well for me, as I started to sort of over push the car a little bit as I experimented with its limitations. Now running wide here at turn 14 and not enough drive off the other side. That was the invitation needed for car 28 to go up the inside through turn 5, a nice wide line for me to avoid any contact. And with 5 minutes to go, I then found myself with a bit over a second to car number 30, the Mercedes who spun earlier in the race. However, also the leaders were coming around to lap us once more, and that was going to be an awkward moment there with the leader. I was running wide at turn 3, managed to get back out of the way, therefore running wide again at turn 4, and my second advantage is slashed to half a second by that car number 30. With just a few laps left to go. Now charging down to turn 6 on this lap, the other podium placed drivers in LMP3 class are coming through, and that's going to make it really awkward here for car 28, who's stuck on the outside of turn 7. Hard place to go around the long way, and just like that, his gap to me disappears as well. So we're left with a 3-car fight here for 14th position, and I was trying to do my best to put some pressure on now at the back of this race. Unfortunately, once again, going too deep under brakes here at turn number 16, and car 30 is all over the back of me, taking a tight defensive line, expecting him to go around the outside. He does not, but he's right on the rear bumper here. He's even going to give me a little hurry up tap as we come down towards turn number 1, holding on to the position for the moment, but only a couple of laps left to go. Now down towards turn number 3. He's there outside my mirrors on the inside. We go long, giving him a bit of space there with him poking the nose down, trying to get to the apex here at turn 4, which we just about do, but another LMP3 is trying to come by, making it 3 wide before turn number 5. I decide to back right out of that one to avoid any sort of contact. Crazy moment there in the race, but fortunately we all come out the other side pointing straight ahead, and no dramas in that one. Now as we come through the final part of the race, doing my best to keep up with car 30 there, but it's just not going to be possible. We're doing our best to push the car. The car's not feeling particularly good at this moment, although our lap times held on okay for the remainder of this race. Overall, I was really happy though with how all of these races went, despite being quite mostly beaten in these 2 races, and my pace being nowhere near, particularly the leader of this one, who was in fact a 10,000 I-rated driver. I was happy to be beaten by someone like that. I was really happy with just how competitive these GT4 races felt, and I was happy that I now have some homework to do in this car around various tracks to try and get up to some proper pace there. Also with 7 incident points, we do gain back a bit of safety rating, but overall I was more happy with just how these races were, ready to put my homework in and try come back stronger for some more GT4 races soon.
So I am soundly beat in my first GT4 races, and to be honest, I'm very happy about it. To elaborate that, when I first started iRacing, one of the very big hopes I had for this platform was that I would be able to find some of the most competitive online races possible. And these GT4 races certainly showed me that there is stiff competition out there on iRacing, even in C-license races. It gives me tremendous hope that Porsche Cup, GT3 and IMSA series events will be of an extremely high competitive level, and I am certainly ready to put my homework in and start learning the finer details of these cars so that I can try my best to compete with the very best. In saying that, I had a tremendous amount of fun in these first few races, even fighting for those minor positions. Everyone who is in these split one events is still great competition. Really enjoyed those races and battles out on track. Of course, being a new car to me, I'd love to know any tips and tricks you have for me. If you drive the BMW or a front engine GT4 car, in fact, I'd love to know what sort of things could I be doing to improve my pace out here on Silverstone or other circuits, particularly any advice on how to use the ABS features. What should I be looking out for to stop overheating those front tires? Because that was certainly a bit of a problem at the end of some of those races. Now, if you want to see how some of my other GT4 races and beyond go, please consider subscribing to this channel if you have not done already. There's lots of iRacing and some more LMU content coming soon as well. So feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Race hard, stay positive. We'll see you again soon in the next one. Cheers.